They lined up last night. They slept in this arena last night, and they have packed this arena for this ESPN Sonic blockbuster between a couple of real heavyweights, the Baylor Bears and the visiting Kansas Jayhawks. Two incredibly successful coaches, Bill Self, Scott Drew, each with a national championship and each having a very strong season this year. Kansas potentially closing in on a Big 12 regular season title. Baylor and Texas Tech tied at 11-4. Big picture, national picture, Joey Brackets has Kansas as a 1, says Baylor moves past Auburn onto the 1 line if the Bears could win tonight. So that's a lot to unpack. There's a lot going on here tonight in Waco. Dan Shulman to Jay Billis. Glad you're with us. Kansas walloped Baylor at Allen Fieldhouse a couple of weeks ago. How does Baylor try to get a measure of revenge tonight?
Well, one of the ways is completing plays and finishing plays. You know, Baylor did a good job on the offensive glass. They're a very good offensive rebounding team, and they did a good job forcing turnovers. The problem was they didn't convert off of those chances. They didn't get second chance points. They didn't get points off turnovers in that first game against Kansas. They shot only 30% from the field. That can't happen. James Akinjo and Adam Flagler have to do a great job tonight in the absence of L.J. Cryer.
Let's bring in Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, Baylor will need to slow down Ochai Agbaji of Kansas, who with 4 games left in the regular season has established himself as the player of the year in the Big 12. 20 points per game. This young man is shooting 50% from the field and 44% from 3. He is one of just 5 players in the nation averaging almost 20 points per game. And guys, they have got to find a way to contain this young man. Off to a great start, ready to finish strong. Ochai Agbaji, somebody should be in the conversation for Big 12 Player of the Year.
Thank you, Holly. He is definitely having a special season. And this is a pretty special environment here tonight for the Baylor Bears, who have been dealing with injuries. Not at full strength. Jonathan Chama is out for the season, and there will be no L.J. Cryer again tonight. But Adam Flagler is in the lineup. He came back on a Monday, Jay, in their win over Oklahoma State and had 29 points, but they're missing a key offensive weapon in L.J. Cryer.
Well, L.J. Cryer is their best three-point shooter. He's got 52 threes on the year, shoots almost 47% from 3. So not having Cryer in the lineup is a problem, but they still have enough to play well and win.
Thank you, my friend, and it is rocking right now in Waco. We are ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. Perfect timing, just underway here at the Farrell Center, and the Bears get the first possession of the night. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Degree. And again, Baylor, for those of you just joining us on ESPN, no L.J. Cryer again, out with a foot injury. Flo Thamba misses the jumper, and back come the Kansas Jayhawks at 12-2, the leaders in the Big 12, and coming off a game, Jay, in which they scored 102 points Monday against K-State.
Well, Kansas is going to try to play at a quick tempo, and Ochai Agbaji off a little pass, and then ball screen comes right into the middle. That's where Kansas wants to operate in this game. In the middle third of the floor, play as fast as they can and move it from side to side, because if they try to go one-on-one against Baylor, they load up that help side defense. They're tough to beat.
Great feed inside from the freshman Kendall Brown, and Thamba converts. Jalen Wilson playing extremely well recently for Kansas, as we have a foul inside on Thamba. Bill Self, just a remarkable 19-year run in Lawrence, has never finished worse than 12-6 in the Big 12, has never had lower than a 4 seed. Won a national championship in 2008, and of course, Scott Drew with the Baylor Bears are the reigning national champions, and hoping that they are healthy enough to make a real run at repeating.
Kansas ran a play on that last one when Thamba fouled. They were trying to get McCormack deep, And Christian Brown knocks in his first three. One of the most consistent performers that fills up a stat sheet in every way that you're going to find anywhere.
The junior from Burlington, Kansas, averaging better than 15 points, almost 6 rebounds per game, having a great year for the Jayhawks.
Maybe the best guard rebounder Bill Self has had at Kansas.
James Akinjo. Crossover, jumper not there. David McCormick rips down the rebound. As always, McCormick, an X factor for the Jayhawks. Wilson, no. Matthew Meyer, the board.
And Matthew Meyer is going to have a good game in this one. When James Akinjo was out at West Virginia, it was L.J. Cryer and Matthew Meyer that stepped forward. The Cryer and Meyer show was big in Morgantown.
I like that. You should copyright that. Akinjo doesn't need much space to get the shot off, but a little bit strong.
Like Kansas looking to run. Jalen Wilson beating everybody down the floor.
And Meyer got a piece of the three, but McCormick is there to clean it up.
Not a normal offensive rebound, but David McCormick, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, averages over 3 per game. That's best in the Big 12.
Second in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. You won't be surprised who number 1 is. Oscar Tshiebwe, who, by the way, put up 30 and 18 in a Kentucky loss today to Arkansas. Turnaround, rattles out on Brown.
Well, it doesn't matter who gets the rebound for Kansas. They can bring it up themselves. You don't have to get it to a point guard.
Boy, Scott Drew cannot be happy with some of the clean looks Ochai Agbaji is getting. He's missed a couple of open ones.
Well, one of the reasons is Kansas is not messing around with the ball. After they secure it, they're going. And it's really hard to pick people up in transition. Little pitch back, and then you just screen Ochai Agbaji's defender. You give him a little bit of space. He can stop on a dime. I'm not sure there's anybody in the country that can move faster and then go straight up after hitting his plant foot than Agbaji.
Kansas defeated Baylor 83-59 3 weeks ago in Lawrence, and it was never a game. It started off 12-2. It was 39-21 at halftime. Deflected out of bounds. Still Kansas ball, but just 3 to shoot.
You know, in that game in Allen Fieldhouse, Baylor had open looks. You know, it's not like everything was contested, but the Bears shot the ball so poorly. They didn't convert off their offensive rebounding, didn't convert when they forced turnovers. This team forces a ton of turnovers. They have to convert and finish plays in this one.
Yeah, they shot just 30% in that game, and Kansas made 15 threes. Brown, no. Saved, but it's Baylor ball.
Saved to start a break. They got numbers.
Flagler. Meyer for 3. Way off.
Boy, Meyer was wide open, and it was McCormick that had to pick him up back in transition after he was out of bounds.
Agbaji bumped by Flagler, the first on Adam Flagler, a key player in the backcourt for Baylor, especially with Cryer still out.
With those calls, the officials are going to make those calls. They're going to have to really start playing by showing your hands, because that's an arm bar on a ball handler. That's an automatic foul, but it's just not been called this year.
A couple of subs for Scott Drew, including Dale Bonner. Checking into the game as Akinjo has gone to the bench.
Well, look how Flagler was guarding Agbaji.
And a travel is the call on DeJuan Harris Jr. and the Jayhawks.
Flagler was not allowing Agbaji to get into the middle. He was really forcing him to the baseline. And it looked like he got a piece of it. I don't think Harris needed to do that. He could have just let the ball go in the backcourt. It looked like it was deflected.
Now you could see Brett Smith, one of the officials, making that signal, but Harris with the backcourt violation. Turnover on Kansas. Baylor just 1 bucket almost 4 minutes in.
Kansas switching exchanges on some of these baseline runners.
Shot clock at 3. And wide left on the jumper by the freshman, Jeremy Sochan. Baylor just 1 for 7.
Good pass.
And Agbaji will bury it. He comes into the game shooting 45% from 3 on the season.
Well, that was a big-time play by Brown. Just dragged the defense with him on the hard drive. And the play behind action by Agbaji. Now Agbaji's switching off onto Flagler. Those baseline cuts, they're going to get a switch immediately.
Good double in the corner. Bonner the kick to Sochan. Shot clock running down again.
Well, Kansas looks locked in on their defense.
Brown tipped away.
Another deflection by DeJuan Harris. He has great hands.
Wilson for three. And Harris runs down the long rebound. Brown with a runner, and it goes. And the Kansas lead, just like it was in Lawrence 3 weeks ago, is 12-2 to start the game.
And Kansas has done it primarily on the defensive end. You can count on one finger the open three-point shots that Baylor's had in this game. They forced them to put it on the deck. A great play behind, and then the little floater. That's not quite a kiss, but a bounce in.
A look at the season for the Baylor Bears. They got off to a great start. They started the year 15-0. But eventually injuries started catching up to the Bears. Akinjo, Flagler, Pryor, Sochan, Chachua all have been out or are out. So 8-5 in their last 13 games. Again, they play in a league with a lot of good teams as well. A lot on the line for them and a lot on the line for Kansas as we take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster. Texas Tech lost to TCU today. Huge win for TCU, by the way. And with the Texas Tech loss, if Kansas wins tonight, Jay, they will clinch at least a share of the regular season title in the Big 12, and that has happened a lot more often than it hasn't happened under Bill Self and Lawrence.
Well, that's all great, but you'd like to compliment our crew led by Eric Mosley and Mike Roig for having the appropriate animal in the animation. They had a bear there last week. We had a cow pulling a wagon, which I took issue with, and I'm sure PETA did as well.
Thamba inside, way too strong. Baylor 1 for 8. And Kansas 5 for 10, including a couple of threes in the early going.
Well, everything for Baylor has been contested by Kansas. And Kansas is finding open shots. They are getting open shots in transition. But Kansas's defense has been excellent. And here's what Baylor needs to do is force a turnover and get on the run a little bit.
And then they give it right back.
Not surprisingly, it's DeJuan Harris that gets that deflection again.
Yeah, he is the overlooked member of the starting five, but he's got a great assist-to-turnover ratio. Very strong defender. Just keeps him moving, keeps him flowing. Abaji. Another offensive rebound. Wide open. Harris. Boy, and in a sense, Baylor is fortunate to be down only 10.
Kansas wanted to play fast, not just up and down, but fast in the half court, moving the ball from side to side and keeping it on a string, and they have really moved the ball.
Look how hard they had to work for that bucket, but Thamba converts. He's got all 4 of their points.
Just a hard roll, hard cut by Flo Thamba, and that was a great catch.
Very good ball movement early on tonight for Kansas. Missed 3 in the corner, Wilson. But he cuts, Brown keeps it alive, and it's a bucket for the Jayhawks.
Not just great hustle by Christian Brown, but an intelligent cut by Jalen Wilson. He is an excellent cutter, moves without the ball very smartly.
The better offensive rebounding team statistically between these two is Baylor, but all 5 offensive rebounds in this game have gone to Kansas.
And Kansas is getting out quickly to run, really putting this Baylor team back on its heels.
Boy, Wilson everything but the finish. McCormick working hard, yet another offensive rebound, and it's a 12-point lead for the Jayhawks.
Kansas is just outworking Baylor right now on both ends of the floor. This has been as locked in defensively as I've seen Kansas in a while, and they've had some terrific outings. I mean, it's a #1 seed projected right now. And Kansas doing a lot of switching.
Akinjo, no. And it's out of bounds to the Bears.
Christian Brown going after this ball. Nobody blocks him out. He's a wing rebounder. That was just a smart cut by Jalen Wilson, putting himself in position to get that pass. And McCormick just working hard, going after that with 2 hands and powering it up with that left hand to get the offensive rebound bucket.
Let's bring in Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Scott Drew told us in that last meeting what beat them was transition defense and rebounding, and that's the formula right now that's hurting them. He told his team in the last huddle, hey, they are killing us on the glass. The ball's going up, and we're just watching it. They're getting out-rebounded right now, 13-3. They've got to get tougher on the boards.
Holly, thank you. Adam Flagler with a strong drive and finish.
And Remy Martin into the ball game. He's been injured with that bone bruise. First time he's played in a while. He brings Kansas some speed and scoring ability.
Yeah, has missed the last 7 games. The former Sun Devil and preseason pick as Big 12 Player of the Year has endured a lot of injuries this year. Great start for the Jayhawks here in Waco. Presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Get the expert tax help you need. And in part by the Sonic Patty Melt for a limited time only at Sonic. And Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. A very fun day here, game day here this morning at the Farrell Center, but a great crowd tonight as Kansas takes on Baylor. And another big game coming your way, Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. The #1 team of the nation, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, are taking on St. Mary's at 10 o'clock Eastern time, right after our game tonight. And in Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren, 2 potential All-America candidates on the Zags.
Yeah, I think Drew Timme should be right there for National Player of the Year. Over his last 4 games, he's averaging over 22 a game, shooting 57%. But St. Mary's is no joke. Tommy Kuzi's averaging about 20 points over his last 3. Seems like he's been there forever.
Yeah. Martin into traffic. Joseph Yesufu, the transfer from Drake. Shot clock running out, so Brown had to heave it and comes up empty.
Bill Self looking at Joseph Yesufu saying, hey, what are you doing? When you catch the ball, you got to know the clock.
Yeah, coming out of a timeout especially.
Jeremy Sochan at 6'8", 6'9". He can be a ball handler in pick and rolls and operate as an initiator, and there are times when he's playing the 5 spot. And when he's playing the 5, right now David McCormick's not in there, but Kansas is going to want to go inside and make him guard down in the post.
McCormick on the bench right now. They're kind of just managing him a little bit game to game. He has some soreness in his foot from a lingering injury. Had surgery last year. Sochan, a top 50 recruit, had 17 points a week ago against TCU, and as Jay said, he is a versatile young man, and both he and Kendall Brown showing up on some mock drafts. A couple of freshmen both showing up as maybe late first-round picks.
Versatile in game and in hair.
Yes.
He's gone with the tinted yellow or green, I guess, and I think it's spectacular. I like anything having to do with hair.
Yeah, he has options that are decades removed for you and me. Yesufu baseline. Follow another offensive rebound on the putback for Brown.
He's so hard to block out because at 6'5", 6'6", he's usually going against guards who aren't used to blocking out. They turn their head, go after the ball, and he gets to the rim.
What a burst of speed by James Akinjo.
Well, that's his game. He's Baylor's leading assist man, transferred in from Arizona, started his career at Georgetown. He actually committed to UConn. A lot of schools to go through with Akinjo.
That's his first field goal this season against Kansas. 1 for 4 tonight after going 0 for 11 in Lawrence 3 weeks ago. And there's Remy Martin. And if he is just healthy enough, he doesn't have to be a star on this team, but if he's healthy enough to be a contributor, they get a lot more dangerous and a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and he can put points up in a hurry. Sochan dragged that pivot but got away with it. Good pass.
The old give and go.
It still works, Dan.
Yeah.
The old give and go still works. But Remy Martin averaged about 21 a game in Pac-12 play his last year as Arizona State. But Akinjo gets a little screen, a random ball screen just past half court in the backcourt. And that freed him up for a straight line drive in the middle of the floor where there's no help that can get to you. And he got all the way to the rim. He's got really good speed with the ball.
Akinjo driving right into the chest of Remy Martin, and
Martin got the foul. He had his hands on him.
Yeah, they're both number 11, so I had to wait for a moment, but it is on Remy Martin.
Martin, to your point, he's not going to be a star for this team, but he can be a star in a particular game and a star in his role coming off the bench as instant offense.
A healthier Remy Martin, a Jalen Wilson who's had a great second half. All of a sudden, Kansas appears to be ascending right now. If they can stay healthy, they appear to have. Bill Self's got a couple more options, it looks like, than maybe he had a few weeks ago.
Oh, this is a good basketball team, especially when you got a Baji who's going to put up 20 a game. He's at 23 in each of his last 2.
McCormick missed a chippy.
And Baylor in the first game against Kansas, they just couldn't convert opportunities. Good fake.
Meyer
was right on cue, not converting. He made a great shot fake at about as easy a shot as you're going to get and missed it.
Baylor 4 for 15 on the night.
But how many of those does he miss? Wide open off penetration that drags the defense and forces help.
Baylor down 12. It could be 20 with some of the opportunities that KU has had.
Kansas switching most every exchange. Got to look to slip some of these exchanges, try to get to the basket.
Flagler gets by Martin. Follow for Thamba.
Well, McCormick is the best offensive rebounder in the league. Third best is Flo Thamba.
Baji wide open again, and again Baylor is fortunate.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Bill Self wanted that shot.
Baji 1 for 5 from 3 tonight. And Brown is fouled.
If you're playing defense with your hands, this is the way the game should have been called all year long. But if you're playing defense with your hands, you're going to get rung up in this one, it looks like.
Sochan back in for Meyer for Baylor. Interesting day in the Big 12 today. Oklahoma beat Oklahoma State in overtime. Texas a 1-point win in Morgantown. Timmy Allen had 26 for the Horns. Iowa State a big win on the road at Kansas State. And then, as we mentioned, TCU a huge win at home over Texas Tech.
TCU needed that one. That could help solidify an NCAA tournament bid, not only for the Horned Frogs, but another team for the Big 12.
Yeah, looks like a 6-bid league right now. Remember, Oklahoma State is ineligible, so 6 out of 9, really. McCormick, a nice job holding off Thamba for the rebound.
McCormick trying to get an angle down in the post.
And a friendly bounce and a little bit of a stare down for Christian Brown down in the corner.
Well, Christian Brown had 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists in the first game against Baylor. I'm not sure there are many players that are putting up numbers in all those different categories that Brown does. He's productive in so many ways.
He's actually got more blocked shots than anybody else on the Kansas roster. I'll tell you what, Thamba is working his tail off, but he has missed a couple right around the rim.
Looks like deja vu all over again from what happened at Allen Fieldhouse. Opportunities missed.
Lots of time. Brown a deep one.
I think Bill Self wanted Christian Brown to wait for that McCormick ball screen, get something going downhill to the basket. They're settling for threes the last several possessions.
14 of their 25 field goal attempts have been three-pointers. Akinjo to Sochan. Nice look to Thamba. Count it.
Boy, a nice wraparound pass by Jeremy Sochan. Thought he might go up with it, but saw Thamba right around the free throw line.
Thamba was a 17-minute-a-game guy until the season-ending injury to Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua. Now Thamba is a 30-minute-a-game guy. A very important player for the Bears as they try to scratch and claw their way back into this one against Christian Brown and the Jayhawks.
Well, Christian Brown averages just under 16 points per game. Takes him a little while to load it up, but he liked it when it went in.
Wait till you see it. It's great to have this opportunity to go back-to-back. And it's really hard to go back-to-back, especially with 353 teams and the parity, but we have that opportunity.
Every Thursday, you can go all access with the Baylor men's and women's basketball programs on Our Time, the documentary series that gives you an unprecedented behind-the-scenes look at both. Big 12 now on ESPN+. By the way, the Baylor women defeated the Kansas women this afternoon in this building 85-77. We were at practice yesterday. Cameras around, shooting behind the scenes stuff, and Scott Drew very open and welcoming about that fact. It is a great opportunity to get an inside look at both the men's and women's programs.
Yeah, I watch it all the time on ESPN Plus. It's really good. Boy, Kansas ran a great play at that time. Out a little wide pin down for Ochai Agbaji as he came off it, just able to turn the corner and get downhill for that left-handed shot. Kansas so good out of timeouts. Doesn't matter if you know what's coming. They execute it so well. Take a look at Agbaji here. He's going to get a wide pin down from David McCormick, and he's being top locked. Adam Flagler is playing on top of him, but still he's able to get downhill all the way to the basket. And in the middle of the floor, it's hard to get help.
This one will go for Thamba. He has 10 of their 15 points.
Well, that's part of Kansas's game plan. They want to make someone other than Adam Flagler and James Akinjo beat them. And so if they're giving up some twos to Flo Thamba, they don't want to give up anything. But they'd certainly rather have Thamba making twos. Great backdoor cut. Just lifted him up, hit the elbow, and a nice little pocket pass from David McCormick.
Terrific bounce pass from McCormick to extend the lead for Kansas. Back to Baylor. Flagler's got 2 points. Akinjo's got 2 points. And the Bears have yet to make a three in this game. Runner. Thamba. He's got a dozen.
McCormick went over to try to block that shot. Nobody rotated to get in front of Flo Thamba. And that's why he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. Just positions himself very well.
Jalen Coleman lands into the game now for Kansas, number 55. McCormick to the jump hook. It won't go. And here come the Bears trying to get it into single digits. Foul on the floor is the ruling.
Well, Kendall Brown just brought the ball up so quickly. Now watch Thamba after this drive. McCormick goes to block the shot, so somebody has to rotate over, and DeJuan Harris isn't going to be able to stop Flo Thamba. Good job by Kansas of lifting up the Baylor defense and then cutting backdoor against the overplay. This is a really good cutting Kansas team. You know, they move very well without the ball. They don't want to play on one side of the floor against Baylor. They want to move it from side to side, make that defense move.
Sochan a good look, but he left it short. Yesufu in transition. Coleman lands, who has made more than 300 threes in his collegiate career, misses a good look.
Well, it's hard to say that anybody other than Ochai Agbaji is the best shooter on this team, but Jalen Coleman lands is every bit as good.
And an interesting group on the floor right now for Kansas. Bill Self getting some rest for a number of his regulars. Brown is on the bench. McCormick is on the bench. Agbaji is on the bench.
And Zach Clements coming into the ball game. The big freshman who can really step away and shoot it. He's an excellent shooting big guy.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's. I note and love the way you say he's a great shooting big guy. You don't say he's a great shooter for a big guy.
No.
Yeah, I caught that.
I don't want to limit big guys in such a discriminatory fashion when people say, boy, he handles the ball well for a big guy.
Yeah.
But Kansas really spreading the floor.
Jalen Wilson, Harris, and 3 reserves in the game right now for Kansas. And it is really getting noisy right now. Signs of life from the Bears. Coleman lands, tough baseline pull-up, no, and the rebound down to Flagler.
That's what Baylor needs to do. Those guards need to go down and stick their noses in there and rebound. All 5 Bears need to get on the glass.
Left hand will go for Flagler, and it is down to 7. And a turnover as Wilson travels. to the under 4 timeout here in the first half in Waco. And after looking like they might get run out of their own barn here in the early going, Flagler, Thamba, and company have brought this crowd back to life.
Welcome back to Waco. Be sure and stick around for the Jeep halftime report. We've had some top 10 teams on the trouble on the road, and there was a big upset in the Big 12 today. But more important, we've got Seth behind the Kansas bench. Coach, what do you have for us?
Well, Bill Self got back that starting lineup in the floor, and he wants to get cleaner stops, get out in transition. He said the ball got stuck a little bit in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Wants to get that thing up the floor and get that thing moving and get it reversed.
All right, Fonz, you're behind the Baylor bench. What do you have?
Yes, got Drew imploring his team to continue to rebound the basketball, and on the offensive end, continue to attack to the rack. No Ochai Agbaji, easy catches, and keep him from going back door.
It must be nice for Seth Greenberg to get into a huddle and find out what coaches say.
Poor Seth. I mean, you just know it's coming, but poor Seth. Look at him. Look at him. Look at the stress on him as he's walking back to his position right now.
He is the best.
He is a good sport.
He is the best.
Yeah, you have to be a good sport to work with you. Kinjo, boy, imagine the noise in this building had that one gone down.
That's what, 0 of 8 from 3 right now for Baylor. It's been a similar story, although Baylor's hanging in there. Their defense has picked up, and to Seth Greenberg's point, Kansas is settling for an awful lot of threes. I think half their shots now have been from 3.
Sochan.
Well, good job by McCormick to stay in front.
Bonner back to Sochan.
Well, just that little pass back. Bonner with the penetration draws the defense, and then he can kick it to Sochan.
Harris rejected by Sochan. Bears in transition. Flagler gets it to go. A 10-0 run for the Baylor Bears. And just playing much harder, much better, Jay, at both ends of the court.
Well, getting out in transition, the beautiful pass back from Bonner. And after the Sochan block, not a hard take by Harris. Sochan blocks it. And then Flagler looked like he got a first down, taking that through traffic.
Early on, it was all Kansas. Boy, has the mood changed on that side of the court right now with the Baylor Bears on a 10-0 run.
Well, you have to expect a team as good as Baylor's going to make a run, but you have to answer that run. And Kansas has not been doing it of late. Give Baylor credit for their defense, but there's the speed of Remy Martin, the catch in the left corner. And what did it take him? One dribble in the blink of an eye to be in the middle of the lane.
A knee injury that has sidelined him for the last 7 games, so playing for the first time in almost a month tonight. Kansas, by the way, starting a 4 games in 8-day stretch. They've got a makeup game against TCU, so in fact, they're playing TCU twice, a home and home, Tuesday and Thursday this week.
This smaller lineup that Baylor has in the ball game with Jeremy Sochan essentially playing the 5. He's like playing a .5 right now, where offensively he's running the point, and defensively he's playing the 5. So David McCormick's got to guard out on the perimeter and try to stay in front of him. But on the other end, what McCormick needs to do is take Sochan down in the post and lock him down, seal him, and try to get some opportunities inside.
Second foul on McCormick, so he sits down. Lightfoot is on the bench with 2, and our first look tonight at KJ Adams Jr., the freshman from Austin.
Super explosive athlete, KJ Adams. So now Kansas matching a small lineup for Baylor with a small lineup of its own. So now it's going to be a lot of 5 out for both teams with an open post.
Brown.
Well, that's a tough shot. Yep. He's going to his left, shooting a floater with his right hand. That was low percentage.
And this one going against the Bears, Sochan.
Yeah, Remy Martin just switching off and staying in front, picking up the charge. Well, you got to give Baylor a lot of credit for how they fought back. The keeper, this little dribble handoff action, Sochan kept it, but Martin switched off. So you have to expect now that Kansas, with this smaller lineup, is going to go maybe to some weave action to get it from side to side and then try to turn the corner in the middle of the floor.
Martin the drive, left hand, no. Meyer the rebound. Well, really, any of the 10 guys on the floor can get a rebound and just go right now.
Yeah, you don't have to outlet it. Got so many skilled players. What a cut.
Akinjo to Meyer, and Baylor, which once trailed by 13, is back within 1.
What a pass.
Adams the finish. Beautiful dish by Abaji.
Open side pick and roll, and Kansas trying to set as many middle ball screens as they can. Right in the slot between the free throw line extended. Middle of the floor, it eliminates help. Nobody could help over as KJ Adams just rolled right to the basket for that easy finish.
Meyer, tough one in the corner, but he is fouled.
Well, you want to put pressure on that shot, but you're not going to block a jump shot. And you certainly don't want to foul a jump shooter. It's sort of the cardinal sin of basketball is fouling a jump shooter.
Boy, Jay, that's number 2 on Ochai Abaji. Doesn't impact them now necessarily, but boy, that's one you'd think about if he picks up a quick third early in the second half. What do you got, Holly?
Well, you guys talked about how loud it's getting here in this building. The loudest I've recorded any building this year was at the Jayhawks. They went up to 117 decibels, which is as loud as a subway train. But after Adam Flagler hit that shot to bring them close in this game, it got to 109 decibels. This building is feeding this comeback and the momentum right now for the Baylor Bears.
I didn't know, Holly, I didn't know you carried your own decibel reader from game to game. That is as impressive as anything you do. Incredible. Yeah.
About a 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Here's the weave. Brown guarded by Meyer, who sticks with him. Brown with a floater, no. Ball's still loose. Meyer's got it. But they won't get a shot off before the end of the half. But what a spirited comeback by the Bears after trailing 12-2, 16-4. They fought their way back within a point at halftime here against Kansas. Made 7 of their last 10 shots and ended the half on a 16-4 run. Holly Rowe is with Kansas coach Bill Self.
Coach Self, what has your team done to allow Baylor back in this game?
Law of averages kind of prevailed. We played well early. They missed shots, and we couldn't buy a basket the last 6 or 7 minutes. But I thought we played pretty good, except for defensive rebounding the last half of the first half.
What do you think of shot selection? A lot of three-point attempts late in that half.
Yeah, I think we're okay playing fast. I mean, a couple of them were a little quick, but the bottom line is we'd like to try to score before they get set.
Thank you, Coach.
A 1-point game of the half. Kansas 32, Baylor 31. After the break, it'll be Reese, Seth, and Fonz with the G Halftime Report. Welcome back to the Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. All a part of Saturday Prime Time, brought to you by H&R Block. Christian Brown knocked down a couple of threes, led KU with 10 points in the first half. Ochai Abaji chipped in with 9. And Kansas got out to a huge lead, led by as many as 13. But here come the Bears. They ended the first half at a 16-4 run. Flo Thamba, the high scorer in the game, with a dozen. Jeremy Sochan with an emphatic slam near the end of the half. And it's a 1-point game. And Chip Gaines says, hey, look at this ring. He wants another one. I don't know if that's his, but He's wearing it now.
It's his.
It's an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. That's a blockbuster of a championship ring from a year ago as well. And first 7 or 8 minutes, all Jayhawks. After that, a lot more fight in the Bears.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Baylor did it coming back in this game. The small lineup was part of it. For Kansas, I think Kansas has to start attacking the paint more, trying to turn the corner, get downhill, drag the defense, force help, and then they can kick it out for open shots or to drive a closeout. One of the things that you can tell Kansas, in my view, was not aggressive enough attacking the basket. They didn't shoot a single free throw. 0 for 0 from the free throw line, while Baylor was 7 of 8. That's an indication of aggressiveness in attacking the rim, attacking the paint.
Holly Rowe had a chance to visit with Scott Drew at halftime.
Well, Coach Drew said the biggest difference in their comeback in this game was they started to box out. At one point in the first half, it was 8-2 in second chance points for the Jayhawks. He said, but we did a good job. They only got 2 more the rest of the way. So watch for more toughness on that. But he said, we figured something out with the small lineup. Jeremy Sochan at the 5. KU had troubles with that. Expect to see more in the second half.
Holly, thank you. Underway here in the second half of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, the game day guys are here in Waco. Heavyweight matchup between a couple of teams certainly in contention for a 1 seed. Right now, Joe Lenardi's got Kansas on the 1 line, Baylor on the 2.
Let's see if Kansas tries to get a post up here, because they haven't had many opportunities to get the ball into the post, and there's McCormick wide open. That's what they're looking for.
Great call. Foul on Thamba.
They need to do more of that, because McCormick, when they got the ball to the elbow, reversed it, he can just seal up the lane and get an angle to the basket and you can throw it up to the square. That was all set up to get him right there in the middle of the lane with Thamba on the high side.
Number 2 on Thamba. Boy, Wilson ran right into his own man in McCormick.
What a pass.
Brown from Akinjo, and the Bears have the lead.
Kansas started this game locked in on defense, but now it's been Baylor's defense that's locked in. Everything difficult for the Jayhawks. And Bill Self got a technical foul, and he was all over the official because he thought his player got hit. Well, you have to protect shooters. Bill Self protecting his team.
Boy, and he is still steamed even after getting teed up.
Well, you can't blame him with the physicality on the shooter. There's the technical, but that was after the last play. Well, Bill Self's been in this game a long time, and he doesn't get technicals without wanting one. And he wanted that one to send a message that, hey, you guys need to start protecting shooters. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. Now here's the drive, and that's not a defender in legal guarding position. Just threw his chest into Brown, and he wanted that call. And let the official know that he wanted it.
Kansas has been called for 9 fouls, Baylor 4. Baylor has shot 10 free throws, Kansas none. A 16-point swing in this game. Baylor once trailed by 13. Flagler around Brown. Left it a little bit short.
But how many layups has Baylor missed in this game? Those are deflating plays. I mean, Flagler worked so hard to get the ball to the rim, just missed an easy layup.
Well, good size in Brown covering Abaji, making him work. Wilson the kick. And now Meyer on Abaji. He can't get a shot off. He'll have to get one off here.
That was a great job of wedge rebounding by Christian Brown. He just got lower than his counterpart, pushed him right into the middle of the lane. See, watch, he got lower than Kendall Brown, got inside position. Brown just had his arms on him. Little push in the back, but just a really good job of offensive rebounding by Christian Brown.
Boy, now Scott Drew is steamed. Each coach yelling at an official right now.
Well, they both have good points to make. I mean, Brown did push him in the back. And that's what Scott Drew wants. I mean, there's reason for each coach on those last two plays to be upset. Yeah, this game has been ultra physical, but that's just been the way it's been. Anytime Ochai Abaji's in the corner, he's a lob threat. Yeah. And that's exactly what they were looking for there.
And that's in the act of shooting. Scott Drew doesn't love the call, but it's a couple of free throws for Abaji as Kansas goes to the line for the first time tonight.
As soon as you turn your head, Abaji's going to the rim. He got hit going up. I mean, he's an airborne shooter on that lob.
And he makes them both. Front runner for Big 12 Player of the Year and legitimate first-team All-America candidate Ochai Abaji, averaging better than 20 points per game in the season.
I can't imagine what would happen where Abaji wouldn't win it. I mean, I think he is the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Akinjo tries to thread the needle. That's a tough pass for a big guy to try to corral moving like Thamba was.
And great hustle by McCormick to get after it.
Abaji slams it home. Kansas back on top.
Well, that's Kansas after the great hustle by McCormick. Playing fast, trying to beat this Baylor defense down the court before it can get set. Because it's a grinder when they're playing 5-on-5.
And Abaji now with 13. Akinjo misses an open look at the other end.
And another rebound for Christian Brown.
11th in the conference in rebounding at almost 6 a game. Abaji is heating up.
Boy, that was good offense. Touching the post, collapsing the defense, kicking it out, and making that extra pass. First to the floor, usually gets the ball, and David McCormick first to the floor. Not only got the ball, but started to break. And as a result, Kansas gets a wide open dunk for Ochai Abaji. And after touching the post, DeJuan Harris with the extra pass, which was the right pass.
Wendy's new hot honey chicken sandwich. Also available on a biscuit at breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's. Let's bring in Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, you see Ochai Abaji elevating his game in every way. Season high, career high in almost every single number. It came down to some really great workouts he did this offseason. CJ Moore in the Athletic detailed a moment where he nearly quit, told the trainer he was working with, Phil Beckner, I hate you. I want to walk out of this gym. But what he learned was he wasn't working hard enough. He broke himself down. He humbled himself. And he eventually got to the point where they allowed him to work out with Damian Lillard. Ochai Abaji humbling himself in that moment, not quitting when it was hard, has taken his game to new heights.
Well, we're trying to get Jay to humble himself, but we're not having the same success right now.
Yeah, good luck.
If Ochai Abaji, as it's laid in by Bonner, if Abaji Jay stays at better than 20 points per game, he'll become just the third Jayhawk in the Bill Self era to average 20 points per game over a season, joining Wayne Simeon and Frank Mason.
Same play they ran earlier to get the ball inside to David McCormick. Just missed it, but got the offensive rebound. And Kansas needs to continue to do that. Continue to look inside and pound the ball into the paint to David McCormick, because then that's going to open up things on the perimeter. Boy, that last play by Adam Flagler, a little hesitation move, and then a great cut by Bonner to get the easy bucket.
Sochan passed up the three, puts it on the deck, and gets the left-handed layup to go.
So with this smaller lineup, Sochan is going to take on McCormick. Now McCormick has to lock Sochan down in the post.
Abaji has it knocked away, but a foul is called. I think they got Bonner.
Yeah, Kansas doing a better job of attacking the paint. Looks like they're going to take it out of bounds. I thought he was going up. I mean, he's going up. I mean, that's ridiculous. He should be shooting 2 free throws. No question it was a foul, but it was a foul as he was gathering himself to go up.
And Abaji continues to heat up after starting off slow. All of a sudden, he's up to 16 on the night. Make it 16 on the night for Abaji.
He is cold-blooded. I'm not sure anybody else in America gets it up any quicker when he hits his plant foot.
My bad, 19 for Abaji. And it's down to a 3-point game after a bucket for Flagler. Brown. McCormick again doing great work on the offensive glass.
Well, the crowd wants a walk, but there was a big crowd in there and a lot of physicality, but the most physical was David McCormick. But he really does a great job of pounding the offensive glass.
Jay, 10 offensive rebounds, 16 second chance points for the Jayhawks. Sochan for 3.
Is that their first 3?
That is. Tipped out of bounds by Sochan.
Well, Sochan was wide open because McCormick was playing him for the drive on the throwback. He faked the shot, and McCormick still didn't come out playing him for the drive. This has been a tough physical game, but this is the matchup right now that both teams want to exploit on the offensive end. Smaller lineup for Baylor with Jeremy Sochan at the 5. Can McCormick take him in the post?
A second broadcast, too, an alternate broadcast at the same time. Coach K curtain call. You'll get a lot more interviews and shots of Mike Krzyzewski during the game, and then nothing but net on ACC Network post game. If you have checked the secondary market in the last few days, you will see that it is a hot ticket to get into Cameron next Saturday.
Boy, a physical defensive possession. Right now, Baylor really working hard to keep Kansas out of the paint and keep them out of the middle. Now, this is a no-middle defense, and boy, Flagler is so good off the dribble, but a great defensive play by DeJuan Harris to save a basket.
And it's 5-on-4 Jayhawks if they hurry. McCormick doubled. Muscles his way through it, knocked out of bounds. Kansas ball.
Boy, Bill Self is wearing out the officials, saying, what are you kidding? There's no contact there. Come on. And he's got a point, but it's going on both ends. I mean, these games in the Big 12 have been hockey games, not basketball games.
McCormick out, and super senior Mitch Lightfoot is into the game. Wilson barreling his way to the bucket, and he draws the foul.
Got the angle and made a hard drive, picked up the foul. You know, down the first half, Kansas didn't shoot a single free throw. That's the first time since last season in the Big 12 tournament that Kansas didn't shoot a free throw in the first half. There's that no-middle defense, and you can see the foul. Meyer just wrapping his arm around him.
Wilson, a quiet night tonight. He's been playing great basketball in recent weeks for the Jayhawks.
After a slow start to the season, he's one of the best defensive rebounders in the country.
ACC, or excuse me, Big 12 player of the week 2 weeks ago. Abaji, not this time.
And Sochan gets the rebound, can bring it up himself with that small lineup. Good give and go. Boy, that bodes well for the Baylor future to have Brown and Sochan. Now a little zone look right now for Baylor.
Wilson lays it in. Boy, he drove around Brown and Sochan to get that done.
And give some credit to Mitch Lightfoot there for running some interference, almost setting a screen on Sochan to keep him from getting to the driver. The horn set up top.
Strong drive. And no basket. Yes, foul on Lightfoot, but no basket.
I don't know what you got to do to get in your shooting motion in this game. But there was a lot of contact. There was no way that Mitch Lightfoot, yeah, there's the foul right there. So it might have been a little bit of a later whistle, but the foul was on the ground.
Number 3 on Lightfoot.
Are you a big fan of continuation?
Yes,
I am too. Because I think he's making a scoring move there. When you foul him, you should get the continuation.
Right. NBA, that's a bucket.
No question. I mean, that last one on Kansas on the other end, when Ochai Agbaji got fouled, he was in his shooting motion. That was 2 shots that just was denied.
Sochan drives and is fouled, and it looks like both teams are kind of stepping up the aggressiveness in terms of trying to get to the rim. Number 4 on Lightfoot.
Jeremy Sochan grabbed the rebound, brought it up, a little pitch back, and then he gets it back when Christian Brown went to pick up the ball. That's just really good offense in transition by the two freshmen.
So Jay, meanwhile, 4 on Lightfoot, and again, McCormick is not a 30 to 32 minute guy. They try to monitor the minutes, as we mentioned in the first half, with the ongoing foot issue that occasionally crops up. So KJ Adams may get several minutes in here right now for the Jayhawks.
Well, Bill Self has told David McCormick, look, if you can't go extended minutes, that's fine. Yeah, you're our starter, and you're going to play. But he wants him to be honest and straightforward about how he feels. Kansas, both teams having to monitor a lot with injuries.
And now Scott Drew counters by bringing his biggest guy, Flo Thamba, back into the game. KJ Adams will have to guard him. Let's bring in Holly again.
Well, guys, I talked to David McCormick today at shoot-around about his foot. It's his right foot. He said sometimes it does get sore. He wears orthotics in his foot, but he said, I'm actually feeling really good right now. He's trying to play through it, and he said, there's only 4 games left in the season. I've got to give it all I've got.
Holly, thank you. Abaji misses a 3 in transition. Wilson going all the way across the court to run it down. Adams. Counter.
Boy, great play, not only by Jalen Wilson to chase down that offensive rebound, but that was a terrific pass by Ochai Agbaji.
Well, you know, Adams has to be excited about getting minutes here. He's about 90 miles down the road in Austin, and he may get some pretty important minutes here for KU.
Adams is a next level athlete. To say he plays above the rim is an understatement.
Well, airmail.
Well, Jalen Wilson did a great job chasing that ball down, but a good drive that brings help, and Adams just presented himself right next to the rim and was able to avoid that late shot block attempt. Kansas running the weave out top, then they can turn the corner,
which Agbaji does. And we have another foul.
Yeah, Agbaji got fouled going to the basket. When he gets downhill, he's tough to deal with.
Dale Bonner of Baylor, the foul. Back and forth they go here in the second half in Waco. Ochai Agbaji has heated up. He's got 19 in the game right now, but Baylor with the answer. Give it a go between the freshmen. Sochan with a finish. He's in form. So is Holly Rowe.
Well, speaking of March, we would not come here to Baylor without speaking to one of the National Player of the Year finalists, Melissa Smith. 33 points, a career high today, and 1,000 rebounds in your career. How are you playing so great right now, Melissa?
Just focused on consistency, really. Just trying to get another Big 12 championship and a national championship.
You are likely to be the #1 pick in the WNBA draft. What has got you excited about your game at the next level?
Just excited to go to the next level, you know, show my talent and keep playing my best basketball.
All right, what do you think about the Baylor men right now? Are they showing out?
They're showing out and keep going.
Thank you.
That's it.
Holly, thank you. Baylor with an 8-point win over Kansas in the women's game earlier today in this building. The Kansas men and the Baylor men in a real dogfight here right now in this one.
I'm still fixated on that Drew Timme mustache. He's gone full Fu Manchu on us. First you had the Shemek Karnowski beard and then the Drew Timme mustache. There's a lot of hair growth going on in the Pacific Northwest. There's an elevator play.
Does Timmy's mustache have its own Twitter account like Shemek's beard had?
It has to. That was an elevator play where there's 2 screeners. The cutter goes through the middle of the 2, and then they close the elevator doors. And then you saw Wilson trying to squeeze through. See, now the doors close, and Wilson just pushes Sochan back into the shooter. Picked up a foul.
KJ Adams just ran over Flo Thamba, who got the foul call.
Adams.
Yeah.
Essentially the same thing, just kind of running over the screener. If you can't get around, go through.
15 foul. Yep.
But Kansas has done a good job of limiting the 3-point opportunities for the Baylor guards. Here's one here.
Boy, how quick was that play off the inbounds? Meyer, yes!
One good box out by Kansas, but Matthew Meyer slides all the way to the basket. Good pass.
No look pass from Brown to Agbaji. In and out on the three.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many of those.
Flagler. Adams called for the foul.
Thought they got the ball on the floor. Adams was the one that blocked it, but I'm not sure who they called it on. Looked like Agbaji got him.
Yeah, you're right.
Got his hands on him, and that's one of the things, you know, when you got a shot blocker back there, and that's a spectacular athlete in KJ Adams. You don't want to foul. Give the shot blocker a chance to wipe it away.
Number 3 on Ochai Agbaji.
Flagler is such a good player. I mean, he leads this team in scoring. There are 3 guys when LJ Crier's healthy that average about 13 points a game, so they spread it around really well. But Flagler transferred in. There's Crier right there. Flagler transferred in from Presbyterian, where he played for the Blue Hose of Presbyterian. He was Big South Freshman of the Year. With just a 3-level score, and he's showed himself off the dribble. Little hesitation moves, finding cutters. He played a role last year coming off the bench where he averaged 10 points a game. But that role didn't mean that was all he was capable of. He showed what he's capable of this year. A little floppy set right now for Kansas.
Yeah, Mitchell, Butler, Teague, the best backcourt in America last year. But you could see how talented Flagler was, even though he was in a 6-man role a year ago.
McCormick trying to get an angle in the post. They need to throw it up to him.
Brown the kick. Harris the 3. And it's Baylor ball.
A good defensive possession by Baylor. DeJuan Harris got a wide open shot. But if Baylor wanted anybody to shoot it from the perimeter, it would be Harris. They did a good job of locking down Brown and not giving Remy Martin an opportunity.
Dale Bonner, a transfer from Division II Fairmont State in West Virginia, getting some minutes now. He generally plays when one of the other guys is out with an injury, which Crier is, as Thamba gets his first bucket of the second half, and Baylor's back on top.
Just a simple little middle third pick and roll, and Thamba rolled right to the basket after setting the screen. And Jalen Wilson needs to give him a little bump. That should be illegal to give him a bump, but that's why those pick and rolls can be so effective. If you don't jump in front of him into his path and bump him, which should be a foul but hasn't been called this year. And Chip Gaines loving that. He loves that as much as Shiplap or Demo Day. Do you watch Fixer Upper?
I do not watch Fixer Upper.
One of my favorite parts of the show is after Joanna Gaines says, "Are you ready to see your Fixer Upper?"
Yeah.
Chip Gaines will say, "After y'all." He lets the new homeowner walk in for after y'all. You got to try that. It's right. When I'm going into a door, you should say after y'all.
I'll try to keep that in mind. I did Google what shiplap is today, though. I'll tell you that much. Boy, I don't know how they're hearing a whistle right now. The foul on Thamba.
McCormick just trying to lock Thamba down to the post, and he locked arms with him and then kind of swam around him and then locks arms with him again. Yeah, you just got to lob it up to him. He was wide open. Like I'm one of the believers when you got one guy in the post and 4 around 1, the postman's always open. It's just a question of what angle the ball is. So you got to move the ball to take advantage of how open he is.
3 on Thamba, 17 foul, 1-and-1 from McCormick. And he misses the front end.
Well, you have to give Baylor a ton of credit. This team fights, man. Down LJ Crier, you got a guy who's your top 3-point shooters, hit over 53s on the season, and still this team is battling a presumptive #1 seed.
23-5 on the season, 11-4 in conference, despite a number of injuries in recent weeks. Sochan spins, shovel pass.
Well, he got hit going up, no call.
And then Sochan, unfortunately for him, he was lying down on the court. Brown tripped over him, and Sochan gets called for a foul.
There was contact on Thamba going up. That's a foul. I mean, there's just no question about this. And that's sort of the idea about these being hockey games. I mean, he earned that angle to the basket. And this just when the ball handler trips like that, it's going to be a foul. Legal guarding position is not flat on your stomach. think it actually says that in the rule book. Great rebound.
And again, as good an offensive rebounder as there is in the nation, pretty much, David McCormick. Boy, he is hollering for the ball down low. Wilson, no.
When you have a postman working that hard to get open, it's not that you want to reward it. You want to get it to the right guy, and he has been the right guy. Sochan trying to post DeJuan Harris.
Instead, Flagler, another rebound for Sochan. Gathers. Can't finish it, but it belongs to the Bears. Great effort by Jeremy Sochan.
Sochan went right into the chest of McCormick trying to pick up the foul. Couldn't complete the play. And then Yesufu just couldn't corral that ball.
I wonder if they do analytics by hairdo for Jeremy Sochan. He's had like 6 different ones, but this is a pretty good one. He should stick with this one. He's playing great.
Yeah, green is definitely working. The green initiative.
Then they get a Kinjo going. And Bonner was standing out of bounds when he caught the pass. As mentioned for Jeremy Sochan. Now, granted, he's got options, and he has mixed it up this year with a lot of different looks. Whereas guys like you and me, we've got 2 options. Bald, and would you clean that up a little bit, please? That's all we can do, but those were the days, huh? Did you ever really let it go when you were at Duke? Did you ever break a hairdo for Coach K?
I had magnificent salad on top of this head.
I don't think that was the answer. I don't think that wasn't the question I asked. But.
Yeah, I had great floppy, Southern California hair.
You did.
It was fantastic. I still have it. It's in a baggie in my bathroom drawer.
Abaji at the line.
Kansas has to start knocking free throws down. Missed the front end. Abaji missed the first of his free throws when he got fouled early in the second half.
So where were the Kansas shoot around this morning? And because of the women's game here, Kansas shot at an area high school.
La Vega.
Yeah, La Vega. That's right. Bill Self and company were there. And at the end of the practice, Ochai Abaji went up to everybody affiliated with the high school. Whoever was there, whether it was the coach or just people who opened the gym, who worked at the high school, shook everybody's hand and thanked them for allowing Kansas to come in and use the gym.
He's a nice young man. He's a heck of a player, too.
Well, how about stopping on a dime? Akinjo does that as well as anybody, but he is having another tough shooting night. Brown. McCormick again.
The timing of that rebound, excellent.
Brown up top. McCormick can't finish it. Kendall Brown. Coast to coast.
What a spectacular Euro step.
Great position to McCormick, and no choice but to foul on that play.
Yeah, that was a really good rim run by McCormick. But when Kendall Brown gets the ball just like Jeremy Sochan, they could take it on their own. One-man break and a great Euro step to get around a really good defender in DeJuan Harris. And then the finish off the glass with the right hand. That's just beautiful. But Kansas needs to keep looking into McCormick. He's working really hard to get an angle. That's a chance to get an easy bucket or get fouled.
70% free throw shooter on the season.
Both he and Brown have done a terrific job on the glass.
Tomorrow afternoon, it's an American Conference doubleheader on ESPN and the app. SMU, a bubble team. They will on Houston at 12:30 Eastern. And then Memphis, a bubble team, will host Wichita State at 2:30 Eastern. It's the Road to Champ Week games presented by Wendy's.
Memphis has made a nice turnaround, but that SMU-Houston game is going to be terrific. And it's remarkable what Houston has done after losing Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark. They are shorthanded, but still playing incredibly hard. Kendrick Davis is a guard that is not to be missed for SMU.
Brown for 3. Yes!
That small lineup is drawing David McCormick out on the perimeter, and he's not biting.
Well, another aggressive drive, this time by Jalen Wilson as he is fouled to take us to the under 8 timeout. Baylor has fought back from down as many as 13, and thanks to this Kendall Brown three-pointer, the Bears are up by 4 on the Jayhawks with 7:54 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Get the expert tax help you need. And in part by the Sonic Patty Melt. For a limited time, only at Sonic. And Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Chip Gaines is loving it. Fun game and a lot on the line. Two big-time programs and a great atmosphere here in Waco right now. Joey Brackets has Kansas as a 1, Baylor as a 2. He says Baylor moves to the 1 line with a win with the Auburn loss earlier today. And for Kansas, they can clinch at least a share of the Big 12 regular season title with a win tonight. Holly Rowe was near the Kansas huddle during the timeout.
A really calm and composed Bill Self had a lot of great information for his team. He talked about when they have this small lineup in for Baylor, how Kansas has got to be stronger. They've got to get to the boards. And then he wants them to play with pace, get out and run. Ochai Agbaji kept reaffirming with his teammates, get us the ball, let's shoot threes, get up and down the court. And at the very end of the huddle, Bill Self looked to his guys, we having fun out here. Everybody said yes. He wants them to enjoy the last few minutes of this game. This is such a fun atmosphere.
One thing that Kansas needs to do, if they get a 3 in transition and open one, great, but they need to get the ball inside. You got to punish Baylor for using this small lineup.
Transition here and a lay-in for Brown, the assist to Agbaji.
Turning Baylor over, getting something off your defense. Boy, it's remarkable with all the injuries that Baylor has had, that this team that was undefeated with its full lineup continues to fight to this level.
Started 15-0, 8-5 since, coinciding with the worst of their injury situation. Kendall Brown into the lane, won't go.
And Brown again going to the glass. He's not scored in the second half that I can recall, but he's still going to the glass. There's the angle. They just didn't lob it up to him. He's wide. McCormick's wide open.
Cross-court look. Christian Brown. Baseline. Tipped away. I think Kendall Brown is the one who knocked it away.
What a pass.
And the lay-in by Brown. The assist to Akinjo at the other end.
Well, Kansas gets it right near the bucket. And Christian Brown just not strong enough to hang on to it. And that's a next-level pass by James Akinjo.
The 4th assist of the night for Akinjo.
Boy, this was a needle threaded. The pass ahead to Akinjo, splitting the defenders, and the beautiful finish by Kendall Brown.
By the Pelicans taking on LeBron and the Lakers.
Former Jayhawk Joel Embiid, former Davidson Wildcat Steph Curry, and former St. Vincent St. Mary's Irish LeBron James.
Well played. DeJuan Harris. Agbaji a pull-up. Rebound to Harris. And still Kansas ball.
And Matthew Meyer slipped down, and Agbaji had about as wide open a look as he's had in the second half of that pull-up jumper. Just pulled the string on it, was short.
Scott Drew staying with the small ball lineup, if you will. It affects Sochan at the 5. Brown strong to the rim, and he's going to the line.
Such a good driver. You know, Brown hasn't been able to get a shot to go down since the first half, but continues to drive it hard. And just got that contact from Kendall Brown to go to the free throw line, where Kansas, they've been making some, but they've been missing some too.
Christian Brown, a guy who almost seems to enjoy road games more than home games. He kind of loves to turn and talk to the opposing fans with a bench every now and again. He doesn't mind mixing it up verbally.
I think he may be Kansas's toughest player, toughest mentally. Bill Self was telling me his dad, before he passed away earlier this year, had said that Christian Brown reads the ball off the rim as well as anybody in the country. And that's one of the reasons he's such a good guard rebounder.
Yeah, Bill says it's not really a 50-50 ball if Christian Brown's going for it. Flagler. over Abaji. Tough shot.
Well defended.
And Jalen Wilson of Kansas will get called for the foul. Some strong work on the offensive glass by Matthew Meyer.
Baylor sticking with this small lineup, and it is difficult to contend with. So David McCormick has to come away from the basket to guard out on the perimeter. But Kansas can take advantage of the small lineup if they'll look to him more. And I think he's been wide open. Now pressure on the ball takes away vision. It makes it more difficult to deliver that ball. But I think they got to start looking into McCormick. He's been getting angles.
Instead, he'll step out. They'll run some offense through him. Now he's posting.
They tried to post Abaji initially. That's why they got the elbow catch to McCormick, but they couldn't see in. He had an angle.
No double, but he missed the shot.
What a rebound. Jalen Wilson was right there, and Matthew Meyer just snatched it out of the sky. 9th rebound of the game for Meyer. Well, he was great against West Virginia. Then after the game, asked him about having his mullet, and he said, there are a bunch of mullets in the crowd. I felt right at home.
Another foul on Jalen Wilson. That'll be his 3rd.
Do you think Meyer gets a little jealous that Jeremy Sochan gets so much of the hair attention when he's got that magnificent mullet?
Hey, where I'm from, they just call that hockey hair.
Business up front, party in the back.
Brown out, Thamba back in. So Scott Drew going away from the smaller lineup right now. Boy, Akinjo, as we mentioned, he has really struggled to make shots against Kansas this year. 1 for 20 in the 2 games. He's having a very good season overall. 13 points per game, almost 6 assists per game.
He's leading the Big 12 in assists, 2nd in steals, over 2 per game. He was all Pac-12 at Arizona last year. He's more of a ball-dominant guard, which he's not done as much this year at Baylor. Here's that elbow catch. Looks like they're going to try to get McCormick posted low. There it is.
Sochan gambled.
Boy, Flagler was right there on the catch for Abaji.
Abaji for 3. Yes.
Boy, if you lose him, the ball goes into the post. You turn and go to dig down. All of a sudden, he moves into an open area for a catch and shoot. Just getting the ball into the post does so many good things for Kansas.
Abaji with 25. He has had some of his biggest games against some of the best teams Kansas has played against this year.
That's what the great players do. Johnny Davis doing that at Wisconsin as well.
Yeah. Thamba to Akinjo. Right back to Thamba. Beautiful offense there by Baylor.
Well, David McCormick has to help. And when he's got to help, that means Thamba is wide open on the roll unless he gets somebody coming over to tag him and get in his way. And thus far, Kansas has not been able to do that. Then if you tag him, you got a wraparound pass. You can throw it to the far corner.
A career high 17 for Flo Thamba. Abaji with the quick release. Boy, Christian Brown up above everybody, but Meyer held him off for his 10th rebound of the night. Didn't see this coming when Kansas got out to a 16-4 lead in the early going. Sochan, count it!
Had an angle on McCormick, just went right into his body. It's not just picking up the foul. We talked about converting. Baylor didn't do it in Allen Fieldhouse. The Bears are doing it in the second half against the Jayhawks here at the Ferrell Center. Just a terrific pass to Thamba, who finishes through traffic. And then Jeremy Sochan, green hair and all, completing the play and getting the foul.
To Colorado, and already today or tonight, Jay, number 3, number 4, number 6, and number 9 have lost, all on the road.
That's life in the NFL. When you go on the road, you better bring it. Michigan State played perhaps its best game in the last month against Purdue. That was a heck of a shot to win that game. Got the switch going against the big guy, Travion Williams, and knocking that thing down.
And don't forget, number 1 Gonzaga still to come tonight here on ESPN at St. Mary's. That game just getting going over on ESPN News. We'll take you there here on ESPN as soon as this one is done.
Remy Martin running the point now.
Agbaji threw a lot of traffic, fouled before the shot.
Just trying to isolate him at the elbow on the right side where he could catch and shoot or drive it. Just got grabbed. Could have called it either on Meyer or Flagler. Flagler had 2 hands on the ball handler.
Well, it just feels like Agbaji's got such a good feel for when to shoot, when to drive, as he makes the first. College basketball continues with Big Monday, presented by LinkedIn from the Dean Dome. It'll be North Carolina hosting Syracuse. Carolina with a win at NC State today. Syracuse lost at home to Duke. And then another great matchup out of the Big 12. Baylor at Texas, just down the road in Austin. Great doubleheader on Monday night.
Well, how about Armando Bacot? What do you have? 25 points, 18 rebounds, 5 blocks. He's been as consistent at a high level as any big guy in the country. There's that weave, getting switches every time. That middle ball screen. See, Jalen Wilson picked up Thamba on the roll there.
Boy, Meyer stepped into that one with confidence, didn't he?
Boy, this has been a different Baylor team in this second half.
Brown cannot finish it, but the whistle blows.
Well, he took that one hard. I didn't see the contact from this angle. Yeah, there was contact. He went up. Thamba brought that arm down. Yep, got him.
Just the left arm, right? He did everything right except the left arm at the end. Number 4 on Thamba.
Not sure exactly what Kansas is from the foul line, but it feels like they are missing a fair amount of free throws out there. And in a game this close, those are deflating.
13 for 18, 72% after that make.
One of those was the front end.
And remember, all of those free throws have come here in the second half. Didn't shoot a single one in the first half. Kansas runs the weave, and now Baylor running it against them.
That's a defensive foul. If he calls an offensive foul there, that's crazy.
Doug Sermons and Tony Padilla in conversation, and it is a flop warning.
But it was a foul, too. What was the call?
Remy Martin, the flop right there.
So there's no foul?
No foul.
I mean, he wasn't in legal guarding position, had 2 hands on the ball handler. But the whistle blew. One of the officials must have had a foul. They didn't call that for a flop, because they usually call the flop at the end of it. Right. So they must have taken the foul off.
Yeah.
That was a weird play.
Sochan. Good defense by Wilson. Thamba way too strong from the elbow, and a shot clock violation against the Bears.
Shot clock violation.
What a battle this game has been, huh?
It has been a physical contest from the opening tap.
You have talked on many occasions recently about a group of 8. You feel the national champion will come from within 8 teams. These two are both in there, right?
Well, Baylor was. I mean, I thought Kansas could get to that level. Looked like a little zone look for Baylor. Yeah, Kansas is approaching that. I know their record says that they're up there.
Brown on the drive to get the Jayhawks back within 3 inside 2 minutes to go.
This is a huge possession right here for Baylor to get a score, Kansas to get a stop. You stretch this lead out, you can be a little bit more comfortable on the defensive end. You get a score right here.
Boy, Sochan does so many things for the Bears, both ends of the floor. There's the score. Flagler, a nice, calm, composed 16-footer to make it a 5-point game.
Just using that ball screen by Thamba and then the missed layup, and Abaji shaking his head. He knew he missed an easy one.
And now they can be a little bit patient here with the ball in a 5-point lead.
Still want to be aggressive, but nothing wrong with using the clock, shortening the game when you've got a 5-point lead and the ball.
Scott Drew signaling in a play from the bench. Akinjo. Count it!
Well, Baylor just cleared the lane. Thamba came up, and Akinjo attacked with that left-hand drive. Got the bump from Harris and still finished through it. Harris was looking for the ball screen to come. It never came. And that was a straight line drive and a great finish by James Akinjo with the left hand. He's better driving to his left. That's part of his Kansas scouting report. Got to his left and finished with it.
James Akinjo with 1 shot.
And a perfect 7 for 7 from the line tonight for James Akinjo.
7-point deficit now for Kansas. You don't have to have a 3. You just have to have a quick score.
Thamba comes over and got a piece of it. And Abaji has to foul. And they can taste it right now here in Waco.
Boy, how about Baylor after the start the Bears got off to fight back to be within a point at halftime. And then to stretch this out the last 2-3 minutes of this game. It's loud in here, isn't it?
The potential for 2 1 seeds out of this conference, especially given this result tonight. Still some more games to play, and of course the Big 12 tournament. But boy, what a big time win, assuming they get it done here in the next 57 seconds for Baylor.
And what a big time performance from Flo Thamba. He was most of the offense early in the game with his offensive rebounding, his finishing, but with Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua out for the year, that hard-playing engine for Thamba to step up in this game, that's big time.
Yeah, he had 12 of their first 17 points when they were in danger of getting blown out in this one. He just picked up his 9th rebound of the game as well.
Well, Thamba had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks in a game against Texas. That was probably his best game, but this is his best game I've seen in a Baylor uniform. Flo Thamba worked his tail off in this game.
And that gets him tonight's Phillips 66 player of the game. Just a great effort at both ends of the floor for Thamba.
Did a couple gallons of gas for that, do you?
First miss of the night of the line for Akinjo. Thamba out, Brown in. Boy, if you're a Baylor fan, pretty good day and night with the women beating Kansas earlier today, and now the men on the verge of doing the same.
Well, so many terrific performances out of Baylor. Thamba, Jeremy Sochan was terrific.
Sochan with 17 points, 5 rebounds. Thamba 18 and 9. Meyer 11 rebounds to go with 9 points, and Akinjo and Flagler in double figures as well. Kendall Brown too. So 6 Baylor players with 9 or more points in this game.
And with the way Jeremy Sochan played, especially with that small lineup in there, shouldn't everybody go green now?
You know, if you're Scott Drew, it really gives you a lot to think about. As great as Thamba was tonight, knowing you can have 2 different looks out there with your regular lineup or your small ball lineup, and it can really accomplish different things.
Well, it just shows when, players are designated roles, but the role they play isn't necessarily all they're capable of. And when things change, for players to be able to pivot and to step forward into new roles, that's really impressive.
At the moment, according to Joe Lunardi, Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, and Auburn, the 1 seeds, but Auburn lost today. There's going to be a lot of shuffling here with all these top-ranked teams losing, and Dr. Lunardi says Baylor's moving up and Auburn's moving down with a Baylor victory tonight.
A lot of shuffling today. There'll be a lot of shuffling on Monday, some on Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday, too.
Correct. Shuffling is in the forecast between now and Selection Sunday. After that, no more shuffles. It's coming up fast, isn't it? Just 2 weeks and a day until Selection Sunday.
Some teams playing for seeding, and teams can continue to get better at the end of the year. That's the encouraging thing. Just because you're in one spot now doesn't mean the analytics tell you what you've accomplished to date. They don't tell you what you're capable of in the future. But other teams are playing for their tournament lives. I mean, that game, North Carolina-Syracuse, that's not a must-win game. It's a can't lose. North Carolina beating NC State today, and they've owned NC State over the last several years. But they need to win that game Monday night to continue to stay squarely in the tournament field.
Yeah, TCU did themselves a lot of good today with a win over Texas Tech. I think Virginia Tech did themselves a lot of good today with a win at Miami.
But we're going to have a lot of ACC teams going to Brooklyn that aren't playing for seeding. They're playing to get in.
Baylor trailed by as many as 13 in the first half.
And this is a game where Kansas could have clinched a share of the title again, but Baylor just would not be denied, especially in this second half. What a performance in the second half by Baylor.
Kansas with a home-and-home against TCU this week, and then they finish at home against Texas. Baylor will go to Austin for the big Monday game Monday night, and they'll finish at home against Iowa State.
Well, Baylor can just dribble out the clock, and it has to feel good for the Bears to get this win over a team that's been tough to overcome in this league.
Scott Drew thanking the fans for their support tonight. What a night it was for the Baylor Bears as they knock off Kansas by 10. With the win, Baylor now goes to 12-4 in the league, and Kansas drops to 12-3. So just a half game separate them right now as they split the regular season series with each team winning on its own home court. Just a great comeback win for the Bears tonight as they beat the Jayhawks by 10 with Thamba, Sochan, and others all having big nights. For Jay Billis, Holly Roman, our crew, I'm Dan Shulman. Thanks for watching.